You know, in today's crazy competitive world, we're always told the same thing, right? To innovate, to sell, you've got to push harder, be more persuasive, get more skilled. But what if that's just plain wrong? We're about to dive into a paradox that flips that whole idea right on its head. Okay, let's get into it.
So, we're kicking things off with a question that seems to go against everything we think we know about making a sale. In this age of AI, is it possible that the secret to being persuasive is, well, to stop trying so hard to be persuasive? It sounds totally backward, I know, but there's some really fascinating research that suggests it's true.
All right, first things first. To really get a grip on this paradox, we need to understand the new world we're playing in. The digital revolution didn't just give us shiny new toys, it completely rewrote the rules for how we create new things. The old playbooks for innovation, they're basically obsolete.
To see where we're going, it really helps to see where we've been. For a long time, we had Schumpeter's idea of creative destruction. New things come in and blow up the old stuff. Then Clayton Christensen came along and showed us how disruptive innovation could let the little guys win by starting simple. Each of these ideas kind of opened the door a little wider, leading us to where we are now, with open innovation. The idea that sometimes the best ideas aren't yours.
And this idea of open innovation is absolutely key. It was a huge mind shift. Companies went from locking everything up in secret R&D labs to actually looking outside their own walls for answers. And this new collaborative world created the perfect runway for a tool that could connect all those dots. And that tool was AI. So what's the biggest catalyst, the real engine behind this new era? You already know what it is. It's artificial intelligence. It is hands down the most powerful tool in this new innovation playbook, and its impact is just massive.
Danielle Kessmeyer over at BASF just nails it with this quote. He says, "We're living through something super disruptive. Think about it like this. The Industrial Revolution disrupted human muscle. AI is a disruption of the human mind, and it's moving at a speed that's just exponential. Keeping up is the name of the game now."
But here's a really important distinction, something Professor Lori Yarvi-Lecto points out. Maybe we shouldn't be thinking artificial intelligence. We should be thinking augmented intelligence. See, the goal isn't for the machine to replace the human, it's to complement us. The real magic happens when you combine human creativity with the raw processing power of an AI. It's not a replacement, it's a partnership.
And this is where we get to the core of our story, the big paradox. Because with AI making us smarter and faster, you'd think that our good old-fashioned human skills, like being persuasive, would be our secret weapon. But what if I told you that sometimes being a little too good at selling can actually become your biggest problem?
So a groundbreaking study by a researcher named Endres and his team decided to challenge one of the biggest assumptions in business. They asked, are more selling skills always better? They looked at how industrial innovations get sold to other businesses, and what they found, well, let's just say it was not what anyone expected. The answer was a hard no.
What they found looks like an upside-down letter U. So on one side, if you have too little skill, your customer is just going to be confused and unsure. No sale. But then you move up the curve, and you hit this sweet spot in the middle, the just right zone. Here, the customer learns, they get it, they build trust with you. But if you go too far, if you get too slick, too persuasive, the customer's internal alarm bells start ringing. They feel like they're being manipulated, and they just instinctively push back.
But here's the catch. That just right spot isn't fixed. It's a moving target. It all depends on two things, your customer and your product. So if your customer is skeptical of new things and your product is super innovative, you're going to need a higher level of skill to guide them. But even then, there's a limit. On the flip side, if you've got an expert customer who already gets it and you're just showing them a minor upgrade, the best thing you can do is just back off and let the product do the talk.
So understanding this paradox is one thing, but actually putting it into practice, that's a whole other ballgame. You can't just flip a switch and integrate AI and these new ways of thinking. It forces companies to face some really tough, very real challenges. And these hurdles are no joke. You've got organizational resistance. I mean, people are naturally scared of new tools that could change their jobs. Then you have the tech issues, like AI accuracy. If you train an AI on bad or biased data, guess what? You get bad and biased results. So you constantly need a human in the loop. And remember open innovation? How do you collaborate with outsiders without giving away the secret sauce, your intellectual property? These aren't small details. They're the core challenges to making any of this stuff work.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. We've got these incredible new tools, we've got these tricky new challenges, so what does the future of innovation actually look like? Where are we headed?
So, what's on the horizon? A few huge things. Sustainability and ethics aren't just for the marketing team anymore. They're becoming central to how we design products from the ground up. We're seeing tech like blockchain emerge, which could be a way to solve that intellectual property problem we just talked about. And then there's the really big one, quantum computing. We're talking about the power to solve problems that are literally impossible for today's computers. The future isn't just going to be faster, it's going to be completely different.
So it all comes back to the paradox. Even as we build these unbelievable artificial brains, our success still comes down to a deeply human quality, self-awareness. It's about knowing when to push and, maybe more importantly, knowing when to stop pushing. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. As we race into the future, is our biggest challenge really mastering our technology, or is it mastering ourselves?